Is law school really hard?
Yes. I think it's so hard because the law wasn't made to be read by black people, and it's kind of like
Unpack that statement for us.
unpack that statement. I will. Um, Many of you may know, and many of you may not know, slavery was a legal institution, so it was okay under law to enslave people, black people, African Americans, and I think that in itself shows that the law wasn't made to work in our favor, it was made to work against us. And I think that coming to law school shows that. From the first time I came in the moot court room, Professor Thomas, who's a contracts professor, was teaching about. She told us about a contract that a woman was kind of just like tricked into like getting her money, her property taken back from her, because of the way the contract was written. And it was just the language of the contract.
I think that's unconscionability.
Yeah.
I should probably know that. I have a contract exam next week.
Yes, it's unconscionability. I think that they were introducing us to the unconscionability concept. So yeah, it's just like. It wasn't written for us, so I don't think that they even tell you that when you first get here, but I think it's something important to know that you're going to be basically learning a new language. So the law is a new language, and you have to learn to read it, to write it, and to understand it. And
So do you feel like you can read it, write it, and understand it now, 3 years later?
yes, I can.
So you feel well equipped for your job that you're about to take on
Yeah,
because of Howard Law?
because of me at Howard Law.
What are some things that you know as a graduate in 3L that you wish you knew as a 1L or 2L?
I wish I knew that, I wish I knew to take it easy on myself.
How do you take it easy when you got to beat the curve?
I think that, well, track and field, I used to run thing that I took with me from track into law school was tunnel vision, and just staying in my lane and just running my own race. And I think that sometimes, like, because there are other people in the lanes around you, like, you may be, like, inclined to look around, but I just tried to stay like in my own lane, and I think it worked to my benefit. But what I would do differently was, like, I don't know, I was very reluctant to ask for help as a 1L, and I didn't go to many office hours. I didn't do many practice questions, and I was just trying to find my way. And if I could go back, like, I would do things better, but I'm glad that I can, like, just give back to 1Ls today and tell them the mistakes that I've made so that they can fix them. And I think that if I would have changed anything, that I wouldn't be able to help people like I will today.
You know how the legal field has like a public sector and a private sector. How are you able to stay, headstrong in the public sector without getting swept up into the private sector?
That's a good question. For those of you who don't know, private sector jobs are jobs at law firms, usually like law firms who represent big companies or do like white collar crime, and then the public sector includes like different like jobs that where you give back to the public. Jobs like a public defender, you may work at a civil rights organization, the Advancement Project, a movement lawyering organization, all different kinds of ways that you can be giving back to the public. And the way that I kept my head up in staying in the public sector, because public sector jobs often have lower salaries, I just told myself that if I just kept like pushing through in the area that I wanted to be in, that eventually I would make the money that I wanted to make because I would have earned it.
So you stayed true to who Tiffany was.
I stayed true to who Tiffany was, and there was a time, I won't lie, because I think that coming to a black law school, like when you think lawyer, you think money, so it can be kind of hard to stay keep that tunnel vision when you see money falling around all around you because you want money. But for me, like, the money was not appealing enough to get me out of my lane because I know what I came here for, and I don't think that there was anything that could have changed that because that is where I was destined to be.
We have to ask you, where have you been all this semester?
Where have I been? Where have I been all semester?
Where have the videos been? Law School Chronicles.
The videos have been manifesting. I think that the video that I'm making now couldn't have been made if I was making videos since the last time I posted a video. I think it was last May when I posted a video, or maybe before that. But there has been just a huge transition in my life since then, and it just took some like introspection and turning inward that I don't think that I could have really captured in my videos. And I think that if I was documenting those times, that I just don't think that they were meant to be documented because I needed to make this video.
Living in the now.
Hey everyone, so today is Wednesday, April 14th, and next Thursday is the last day of the semester, so it's like all of the deadlines are coming in at this point. And I came to campus today so I could do my class and then stay to study because studying at home is just not my thing. It's too challenging for me. And April 26th, which is the Monday after next, is when all of my deadlines are. I have 2 20-page papers due by that date, and I have a final exam which is on that date. So it's just time for me to lock in. So do my best to study and write. So buckle up. My computer broke just in time for finals. So right now I'm working on the paper that I had due the other day. It was the first time I had to ask for an extension or a accommodation on a final paper or exam, and it was like, damn. But I needed to ask, and I was like, I never asked before because I just stay silent even in situations where I know I need some type of accommodation or help. So I said, this is the time I need to speak up for me because there's no way I'm going to be able to get this paper done efficiently by the deadline.
So, Tiffany Barlow is walking us in the halls of Howard Law.
So I'll show you guys. We have a chapel in the school, so like an actual chapel. It's pretty cool. Area, and this couch, this red couch, is the couch that brought me peace and sanity during my experience here. Like, in between classes, you know, like we have something downstairs called the Rat, and we have the lunchroom, and like those were the areas that were highly populated where everyone would usually go between class or to the library and things like that. And I just always wanted to get away, so I would come over here and just sit here. Sometimes I'd do my work, sometimes I would read my books, sometimes I would just sit here, listen to music, you know, and it was just all like crazy. So this is my secret spot, and I guess it's not a secret no more. Here's the chapel. As a law student, this was the first place that I walked through to enter my Howard Law experience during the pinning ceremony. And happened so fast. We walked through the chapel, we went to our designated rows, and we became Howard Law students. At times, like, coming to the chapel at Hustle was like almost like a natural instinct. Like I would come here in the morning. I remember one time where I was so tired. Like I came here and I just went to sleep. I just went to sleep, went to class.
Why is it not April 29th? That's the day of my administrative law final, and it's my last final of law school. Since you've come to Howard, what do you think has changed the most about you?
I guess I would say my overall like drive to understand the law and see how I can use it to my advantage or our advantage.
Do you think you work harder
Than who?
than before?
Yeah, I definitely work harder than before. Like law school, the work that law school required me to do is way more in depth than college or anything else that I ever did before.
And do you think you've grown because of all of that?
Yes, tremendously.
What would you say to someone who's going to be sitting in that same bench that you were your 1L year?
Same bench and the same circumstances, it means that it was somebody who just wanted to get away from what was in front of them and who kind of struggled on their own. So if I had to say something to that person, I would say to believe in yourself, to not be the one who holds you back, because you could be the one who pushes yourself forward. I would say that it's easier to get through things when you're positive as opposed to when you doubt your ability. And I would also say that like you applied to this school because you thought that you could do it. You knew that you wanted to become a lawyer, so just see it through. So there used to be like this photographer on campus who would take pictures of students walking around campus with a Howard Law shirt on. So there were about 2 occasions where I was walking on campus and the camera guy came like, oh, let me take a picture of you. And I really felt like that, like during our 1L year, like that was important because like it's kind of all a blur at a certain point, at least for me, because of how hard it was. So to be able to capture something like this and then to one day be next to it, ready to do what that person came here to do, it's just humbling. It's very humbling knowing how I felt at this time and knowing how I feel today. And I'm just so grateful for this experience. Like, I remember walking down this very hallway to the admissions office to like just try to see what I could do to be admitted to this school. And like, it's like here I am and here I am. Like I did it, I actually did it. Just the educators here and the level of education that we receive is just, it literally does shape you. And when they talk about a Howard lawyer, it is like a different type of.
What is a Howard lawyer?
What is a Howard lawyer? I think that the school kind of like forces us to think really critically. So I think that we become very thorough lawyers, and we learn something called to be clear and concise. So we're able to like write the law in a way that can make sense to the court, but also furthers our argument. Still in amazement at the fact that this girl,
Tiffany Barlow.